This is the MSI Titan 18HX AI. It's a beastly desktop replacement laptop and our first look at Intel's new Core Ultra 200HX series of mobile processors. And thanks to Intel for sponsoring this video, we're going to tell you a few things we learned about this laptop and about Intel's latest mobile powerhouse. And it all happens right here, right now on Robeytech. If you're a power user that travels a lot and you've been waiting to see Intel's 200HX series of mobile CPUs in action, we have a treat for you. We're checking out the new Intel Core Ultra 9 285HX inside of a laptop that is massive on just about every level. And when we say massive, everything about this thing is big. The screen, the chassis, the keyboard, the GPU power, and yes, the CPU power too. Now we are going to show some performance data, but we're going to save our comparisons for our full in-depth review, which will be coming out shortly after this one. Again, we want to say thank you to Intel and their sponsorship of this video, because that means that we get to share an overview of the Core Ultra 200HX series of processors inside of the new MSI Titan with you. If you missed our overview of the Lenovo IdeaPad Pro 5, which you should check out right here, we actually broke down Intel's strategy for mobile CPUs in 2025. Here's a quick rundown. Back at CES 2025, Intel announced 3 CPU families that would lead the mobile charge this year. Those CPUs are the 10 to 28 watt Intel Core Ultra 200U series, the 28 to 45 watt Intel Core Ultra 200H series, and the 55 watt beastly Intel Core Ultra 200HX series. Now we're not going to focus on those other 2 processor families, but you should go watch the other video to find out more, if you're interested. Now as for the HX series, these CPUs are all about squeezing as much performance as possible out of your mobile device. In other words, you'll find these chips in high-end gaming laptops and mobile workstations paired with a discrete GPU, allowing the CPU to focus on strong processing power while the GPU gets to play to its own strength. As for the Core Ultra 9 285HX inside this laptop, we're looking at a 24-core, 24-thread megatasker with up to 5.5 GHz of speed on the P cores and up to 4.6 GHz of speed on the E cores. As for the actual juice behind the CPU, you might be thinking, Robey, didn't you just say that the 285HX is a 55 watt CPU? While the 285HX does have a base power of 55 watts, MSI is providing up to 95 watts to its Core Ultra 9, which is a lot for a mobile processor. However, the power doesn't stop there. When combined with the Titan's discrete GPU, the laptop has a combined total power of 270 watts. Now, if you're worried about power draw, the Titan also has Intel's integrated NPU 3 to more efficiently run background AI tasks. It also has support for Wi-Fi 7 and Thunderbolt 5, support for DDR5 RAM speeds up to 6400 megatransfers, and more. One cool feature that I want to point out here is that the Titan is actually licensed for Thunderbolt Share. This is such a game-changing feature if you use multiple systems for streaming like I do. You can share audio, video, peripherals. Basically, it makes sharing gameplay so much easier, and it's all with a single Thunderbolt cable. Also, since this is an on-the-go device, this feature also is awesome for high-speed data transfer. Now, as we talk about the MSI Titan 18HX AI, we should talk about the specs and pricing. The model we played with has a retail price of around $6,700, which is pretty expensive for most people, but this really isn't a laptop for a lot of people. That being said, MSI really didn't spare any expense with this laptop. For GPU, the Titan 18HX AI is using the NVIDIA RTX 5090 Mobile. This is powering an 18-inch 4K plus mini LED display with 120 Hz refresh rate. The Titan's display has a peak brightness of 1000 nits, which if you open it in the dark will blind you. The contrast ratio is 1,000,000 to 1, and it covers 100% of the DCI-P3 color gamut. Now, if you've been around Robeytech, you know how much we love OLEDs. But I've got to be honest, this screen is still pretty bright and beautiful, and it has very crisp colors. That's the beauty of mini LED. What's also beautiful is that the Titan's RAM and storage are also upgradable. Now, we're going to go into deeper detail about how simple or complex it is to upgrade storage and RAM when we do our full review, but for now, here is what you actually need to know. The Titan has 3 PCIe Gen 4 NVMe M.2 slots as well as 1 PCIe Gen 5 slot. In the model we tested, the Titan has 3 2TB drives, and they were set up in RAID 0 configuration. As for the RAM, this model has 64 gigs of DDR5 RAM, and as we mentioned earlier, it runs up to 6400 megatransfers. Moving on connectivity, the Titan actually has plenty of it. We love that the Titan has both Wi-Fi 7 and an Ethernet port, especially with this being a desktop replacement style laptop. Having the option for high-speed wired and wireless connection is, well, absolutely amazing. What's also amazing, especially if you like mechanical keyboards, is that the Titan uses Cherry MX ultra low profile switches. This is probably one of the most satisfying laptop keyboards to use. It's super responsive, the per key RGB lighting is nice, and it also has a full 10-key pad that's actually usable. Speaking of pads, the trackpad on the Titan is seamlessly integrated into the body of the laptop. It does light up with RGB if you want, but otherwise it's pretty invisible. It's also equipped with haptic feedback, and that does help the tactile experience when using it. And finally, for battery, the Titan has a 99 watt-hour battery, which sounds massive. When we talk about battery life, it actually translated into an average of 3 hours and 46 minutes in our UL Procyon Office of Battery benchmark tests. But let's be super clear here. We're testing this on a laptop with a combined power draw of 270 watts, so it's gonna be a bit power hungry. Okay, that's a lot of talk about specs and features, but how well did the new Titan and the Intel Core Ultra 9 285HX actually perform? In Cinebench, the new Titan averaged a single core score of 2208 and a multi-core average of 40,070. In Puget Bench creator applications, the Titan had an equally good showing. In After Effects, it had an average score of 15,368. In Premiere, the average was 15,359, and in Photoshop, it was 9782. So we gotta give you a bit of a bite of what gaming is like on the Titan. And let me tell you, it's actually looking pretty rad. Starting with raw performance, the Titan averaged 68 frames per second in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, just under 71 frames per second in Starfield, and a fair bit over 33 frames per second in Star Wars Outlaws. Now, keep in mind, while these don't look impressive, each of these titles is running 4K with ray tracing elements cranked up. But when we turn on DLSS, Indiana Jones averaged 100 FPS, Starfield was just under 132, and Star Wars Outlaws averaged just under 82. Keep in mind, this was without the use of frame generation or multi-frame generation here, so there is much more room for higher frame rates. So essentially, we're looking at gameplay performance that can, in some situations, make full use of the display resolution and refresh rate, which we do actually love to see. We actually tested more games, which we'll share data for in our full review soon, so hang in there and make sure you just are liking and subscribing to Robeytech, so when that video goes live, you get a chance to actually watch that video. Performance is one thing, but how does the Titan do with temps and with noise levels? Overall, Titan does a pretty good job keeping its components in checks thanks to MSI's vapor chamber cooling system and design. At idle, the Titan rested at an average of 54 degrees Celsius on the CPU and 46 degrees Celsius on the GPU. Under CPU load, the Titan held CPU temperatures at an average of 86 degrees, while the GPU averaged 72. And finally, during gaming benchmarks, the 285HX averaged 80 degrees Celsius, while the Robey RTX 5090 averaged 66. At idle, the Titan clocked in at around 43.3 decibels. Under load, however, it does take a significant leap up to around 58.2 decibels. For comparison, this is about the same noise level as an electric toothbrush, but you need to decide if that's cool with you. That was a lot of information, but we wanted to give you an overview of the MSI Titan 18HX AI, as well as a first look at Intel's Core Ultra 9 285HX inside. Again, we want to say thank you to Intel for sponsoring this video, but we actually want to know what you think right now. What do you think about having a big and powerful laptop for travel? How would you use a desktop replacement like the Titan? And what questions do you have about the new Core Ultra 9 285HX? And what other things would you like to see in our reviews for laptops like this? Let us know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, why don't you go ahead and slap that subscribe button, whip that like button, and ring the notification bell so that you get a notification each and every time we post a video like this right here in Robeytech. And if you want to continue the conversation, maybe you want to ask more questions about laptops, you know where you should go? Discord.gg/Robeytech. It's an amazing place to meet other tech and PC enthusiasts who love to have these kind of conversations, and you know what? You might just make a friend. Also, make sure you follow us on all the other social media platforms, whichever ones are your favorite. Thank you so much for sticking with me for so long, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.